Welcome to Common Sense, where we make sense out of everyday issues. Yeah? Today's topic of the hour is on women and masculinity. Do they embrace it and why? Jude, over to you.
Are we talking about women with muscles or what?
Yeah, women with muscles is a whole different thing, which can be seen as that as well. But this is kind of like a part 2 on us discussing women and masculinity and the array of men that just don't like it. Let's start with, are there any men that like women that present themselves as masculine? I don't mean women in sexuality. I just mean women with masculine energy at the best or worst of time.
So what are masculine traits and energy in the first place? Like, we'll be comparing men, I think we know a man being masculine. Not every male is masculine. We are aware of that in this generational climate. Okay, your men, So yeah, so. Okay. Masculine traits for men.
Okay.
Traditionally, what I believe those are would be you fend for your family. You protect your family against intruders and outsiders or insiders. You do everything for them. You're there for them. Whether rain or sun, you protect them. You're the umbrella. Those are the masculine traits. You put yourself in front of danger for them. The natural instinct is, if there's danger coming their way, you'll be in the front to protect them.
Would that be characteristics of expectation we're talking about here, as opposed to...
It is the trait, and it's been characteristics and also expectations from time. Men will go to wars, the women will stay behind. There'll be some men that leave behind too to protect the realm of the kingdom so the women are not attacked. Men will go hunting for months and to bring meat back, and some of them will die on the way anyway. But they'll come back and there'll be food for the family. And men will sense danger and then say, okay, we need to move to another territory. So it was always about protecting their women and children. And if you look at society today, when in war times, when people report about war, they always talk about atrocities committed to women and children. They don't talk about men, because men is naturally to protect them from that. And when we fail to do that, it becomes news. So if we're talking about those masculine traits, I would really love to see women behave like that, protect me, fend for me,
I love everything you just said. You've taken it to the next level, I think that no one's really talking about. So I love that you said that. On the flip side, I know me and Nana's kind of spoke about this as well, on and off camera. And I think we're talking about, there's lots and lots and lots of men, and I'm hearing it a lot. So it's not just a fantasy thing, where men are feeling like women have lost, not all, but a lot have lost touch with their gentleness, their soft-like self, their natural disposition characteristics, as in feminine. Yeah. And I've often asked lots of these men, hey, if you are a masculine man, how would someone, for an example, like me, have the ability to present myself as masculine? If you were doing,
this is all the things that you're saying that a man,
remember, I don't
a masculine man should do. If you were doing all these things, why would let's
cover the women who take away sexuality, because that's a whole nother behavior that we don't need to get into unless we want to. Those who behave a certain way. Sexuality, let's leave that aside unless you want to touch on that. I'm talking about those who are heterosexual, for an example, who energetically or even verbally, like if I get, I'm feminine, but I'm aware that if I'm in the presence of a man that I don't respect as masculine and have that alpha energy, I may override you. Even unintentionally.
You're absolutely right.
I may even be forceful if
we have
how
that.
I behave. That's not quite womanly. Listen,
we have that. As we have those experiences in homes in Africa, and even in African homes here, I don't want to speak for other people, where you will normally sometimes hear the woman in the house or in the home say, "Hey, my husband is not a man," so they take charge, and that's exactly what you're saying.
If he was a man, I couldn't behave like a man.
She won't be, because he'll be like, "You don't pay the bills, you don't protect us, you're not a man. I'm doing that, so I'm the man." So again, that flip side, the woman can exhibit all of those traits, and the man has no right or any place on earth to contradict that or say you're behaving like a man, because you haven't behaved like a man. That's exactly what you're saying.
That's why women often, I can't speak for all, but often you will find that certain caliber of women, if they don't respect you, you know, as you know, a man will leave you purely on respect. He might even forgive you if you cheat, but disrespect in terms of in his face. So I know me, for an example, I have left an amazing soul not so long ago who I just didn't respect as a man. I called him pansy to his face. You're too pansy.
What's pansy again?
And then like his response was like, "Do you need a tampon, love?" Do you understand what I'm saying to you? He was just too like. Of course, he presented as a man. Lots of men look masculine, but don't behave masculine. Lots of women may look feminine, but not behave womanly. So I'm aware of
again for not wanting to put women in boxes. Traditionally, like their place is in the home. Cook, clean, care for the kids and all of that.
And you brought home
like
the
I
bacon.
said, the men go out and provide for them.
Yeah.
But
Not
people
anymore.
can say that's cultural society, but society and culture is fluid.
Yeah.
As time goes on, and it depends on the society as well. In Nigeria, because we don't pay similar bills, we don't do things the way they do things. I could say, marry 3 women, live them in big houses, fend for them a lot, and even sometimes give them help to help them do their house chores. That's possible. But in London, for Christ's sake, man, there's no way I can put a woman at home and say, let me fend for you altogether. You feel the pinch, the bills, the burden will be on you. So the woman is then expected to assume some of these responsibilities. So we don't want to be denying or disenfranchising women again that, okay, you don't have the right to speak in public like the Bible said. Don't let us speak in the public of men. We don't want to go back to those times because I believe those times it was right that they said it those times for those purposes. But now it's a different time. I don't want my daughter to grow up in a society where a man would say you don't have a place to speak because she got her own head. That's exactly why I spoke about Kamala Harris the other time. She's her own person. She don't need a husband or a man to define her. But having said that though, this issue about masculinity and femininity, there are men who are in touch with the feminine side. I want to pride myself as, okay, I'm in touch with that.
Yeah, but
because I come from a woman.
How much in touch are you? And the reason why I
come from a woman. I have daughters. I have women around me. If
but
I hate on them,
would I mistaken you for wearing my leggings? Would I mistaken you for that? I mean, right about now, I know men's wearing trousers tight as mine. We got a problem.
Okay, so I wear trousers tight too. Come on.
Okay, no.
He's feeling personally attacked.
The trousers are busting my balls.
You see what I mean? Me personally, no, to each their own. I'm like, okay, a lot of guys do not want to see women, and if we're going to go on that, with their pants sagging. It's not a feminine look.
Great.
Even back in the biblical
let me tell you, let me flip something quick.
Let me finish real quick. Yeah. Even when I was back in the day when I was going to church, we couldn't wear trousers because it's quite clear that was not. And I was like, what if I do horse riding? And then they said sit on the horse sideways like back in the olden days with your skirt, right? So I'm not saying we need to go back to those times, but clearly, just for the record, fellas, I don't want to see a man wearing trousers like mine. I don't understand why you would want to wear trousers.
Trousers like what?
Suck on like this, like me. Why?
Okay, I'll throw mine away then.
No, to each their own. But I'm saying that's where we're at. What I'm saying to you.
I'll read my wardrobe.
Now I like wearing a lot of my trousers are like 3 sizes bigger. I love that kind of grungy look, but I still got that feminine.
What if I say you shouldn't, as a woman, wear that? You should dress like Nana.
But
that's masculinity.
But that's what I'm saying.
You should be wearing dress. You should be wearing corsets and pump it up like that.
I love corsets. No, but then I would say fine.
But you know what it is, right? Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, right, it comes down to, well, from what we've been saying and everything else, right? People have different ideas of what masculinity or femininity looks like, depending on. It shouldn't
be individual. It means what it means.
No.
Opinions on that.
But
it means what it means. Look it up. Google it.
No, I get it and I understand, right? But also from a cultural perspective, people do have different
cultural. Because that's when we want to change it. Yeah, of course.
People have different ideas of what masculinity and femininity looks like. Yeah. Because I say this all the time that although historically people will say that if you look at just from like an African perspective, because I'm African, why not?
Why not?
People always say that, and we don't do this in Africa. The men, they provide, they do this, they do that, they do that. But actually, if let's say you're from Ashanti, we know I'm somebody of Ashanti. Of Ashanti origin, what I will say is that Ashanti women are known in history for being
the
very strong
providers.
women.
Yeah.
And also for being the ones, because they're matrilineal
In
tribe.
what way? How do they display that strength?
Because it's a matrilineal tribe.
Okay.
So
how do they display their strength?
So when I say it's a matrilineal tribe, so you only inherit through your mother's line.
Ooh, okay.
So what has then happened with that is that what you then have is, I know people are going to slate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. You find that Ashanti women are driven.
Right.
They're go-getters.
Nothing wrong with that.
They're driven. They're go-getters, and a lot of the times they are the providers in their family.
Yes.
Okay, so that's cultural, right? So I've seen some tribes as well.
Because it's accepted.
And what does the man do in your tribe? What role does he play?
But here's the thing, right? The men are there, but it's because you know that you've got these strong female figures, and even from like let's say the royal household, let's take it for example. At the moment, the Ashanti king, when his mother was alive, she was the one that essentially you go to her
for all the decisions.
For decisions and orders.
Powerful queens.
It's always been accepted.
Did that make her, okay, so let's look at this. Did that make her present as masculine though? Because we know that different cultures have their thing, but did that have her? We know that obviously in some cultures that be seen as masculine, but
I was just about to say
she's masculine.
I was just about to say, because when you look at it, if you look at historically, and when I would say when the colonialists came to Africa, came to Ghana, one thing they noted was the strength of the Ashantis and the fact that the women were so strong and that the women were doing so things. And in the same way that when they went to Dahomey, they were like, oh, they're women warriors. You had the women guarding, and that in itself for them, bear in mind that they were coming. So for them, that was strange.
Even in Benin Kingdom, we've heard of a Queen Idi and Iyesige. Her son was the king, but she was the main person who made decisions. She was a warrior.
I always try to challenge the idea that yes, fair enough, we have this, because I think what's happened is, and what we've gotten into, I don't know whether this is right or wrong, is that when you look at it, what's happening, should I say, is that the Western idea of what is deemed to be feminine is basically what we ride with.
It is
but
Eurocentric.
then if you
That's
look
what the
at
trouble
it,
is.
And when you start looking into it, you're like, actually, am I really quote unquote masculine?
Do you know what I think it is? I think we need to look at,
because sometimes that's one thing that I've been challenging myself.
So let's look at, it's a great example you just gave, right? As in like,
and it only came up,
but I can't look at 1,000 cultures and use that as a benchmark.
No, because you only speak from your personal perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not even really, because what is mine? Mine is what I see.
Yeah.
You know, you come out the womb, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So when I look at one culture here, let's look at generically on the general board. Generally, there's not women who hold the shots on a general perspective. Maybe that one or two cultures back then. Maybe
no, I completely disagree with that.
Okay, we're living in the Western world, and the media we're looking at is either westernized from America. Hang on, America, or let's say a lot of my media is either American based or UK based. Yeah, and then obviously African based. So when I look at that in general, this is what I'm talking about. These are the voices of people, not the one who's in a random country somewhere else. That's not the voices we're listening to.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So in terms of the regular man, I've met a lot of African men. A lot. The one thing is, Nigerian men always tell me to calm down. Calm down now. Every single one of them told me, no one else, not Caribbean.
Yeah, but you guys dance to the baby, calm down. Oh. I told a girl. No, I'm not joking. You laugh now. I'm not joking.
Don't crack me up.
No, I'm not cracking you up. I don't play with those things. Lyrics, books we read, languages. They empower and also disempower. Baby, calm down. Oh. A lot of women will shake their ass to it. And I sat down having a conversation with one and said,
but let's
listen. No, there's no context. That is, you just said a lot of Nigerian men tell you to calm down. That's what that Nigerian boy was still doing in his music. Yeah. Baby, calm down, oh.
Love you,
why is he telling them? Why is he telling baby to calm down? It's not telling boys to calm down. It's telling the babe, because again, it's that trait you just.
Me, do you know what it is? Half the time,
it is wrong.
I'm laughing and joking, but my fight, I said, honey, I'm Caribbean. You're Nigerian. You know I'm gonna be fire. Yeah. So the thing is, I'm not even saying nothing much, but it's like, oh, calm down. It's like that. But I know that a lot of Nigerian men, I'm not saying all, love you guys, dated you guys, will date you again, but it is a controlling and possessiveness. So that even the fact that I would even say, what time did you call this? Did you call me? calm down. I'm not even angry, but I'm telling you, I'm not the one for that. See this? This is too forthright. The fact that I even do this.
Yeah, but
do you see?
I understand what you're trying to say,
and that's not late. That's not.
The only, I get you. Purely because you know what, it generally came up. The only reason I brought up the cultural perspective is that I recently told somebody that, oh, you know what, I'm part Ashanti, and it's a masculine tribe, and like the children are considered to be. Basically, you're considered to be the family members of your mother.
Yeah.
He had a shock of his life. He was like, so wait, what happened? Because he was like, wait, I'm from
you're
this.
You're very forthright,
he froze. He was like, I didn't know that. So then he asked me, okay, so what happens if there's a child?
Women don't have the main say, surely.
He didn't know that. He was like, so what happens if you have a child and from my cultural background, the children belong to the father's side of the family. So what is there? Because then if you're Ashanti, you're saying is a matrilineal tribe and the children belong to the mother's side, and I'm from a culture where the children belong to the father's side, what then happens? And I was like, mate, I don't know what happens, but I don't think that we enforce it so much now, because from my perspective, I know that that's what it is, but maybe my grandma is very big on like the matrilineal side. She always tells me, you're the only granddaughter. You need to make sure that my lineage doesn't die out.
In what way do you think she means that?
She means that
to have a girl child, children.
If I don't have female children, her lineage dies out, because I'm the only female daughter from her 2 daughters.
Right.
Because the women, they carry the name of the family.
Yeah, I think it's really educational that you've actually, and informative, you shared that. On the flip side, I know that is just, men ain't even looking at that. Men are looking at generalization, whether you're Caribbean, whether you're African, whether you are, obviously if you're Asian or Indian, women are submissive. There's no 2 ways about that. Yeah? So naturally, I always say that cultural differences will make a huge difference in these kind of conversations, because in many, again, Indian, Asian, are you mad? Size up to who? Answer back to who? And people can, but that may lead you down sometimes to be unalive and go on. I'm being very serious.
The point I was trying to make earlier when I said this Eurocentric perspective, I'm from Nigeria. I grew up there. My better half of my life was in Nigeria. And people will say a lot, the men are this, the men are not that. But that's not what really translates on the ground. I grew up around strong, what society would call strong women. But they were just women. It just means they were the dominant ones. And it comes from their entrepreneurial spirit. And if that's masculinity, great. My mother was one. Our sisters were some of them. Their children. These are very intelligent women. Been at the top of their game. Education-wise, they've been at top of their game for more than 20 years, 30 years. I grew up under all of them. So I respect women. I don't fear a woman who's that.
A lot of men say that until it's switched on them. A lot of men say
this is me. I'm on TV. I'm on TV saying this.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying this, if I'm lying, they can pull me over. This is the family I grew up in.
In your relationship circles, with you in your personal dynamic,
I push my women to be strong. I push my women to be entrepreneurial. I push them to dream.
That's very different. Let me tell you.
If they don't want to dream and drive, that's why I hate lazy people, whether woman or man.
Okay, cool. But let me tell you, you would be the 1 in 1,000, which is possible.
I'm not just saying this for clout chasing. No, because at the end of the day, I got a daughter, and if you see my daughter, go ask her. I want her to be at the top of the game and let no man tell her nothing. And because of how I grew, and that's how Ashanti is. That's how Benin Kingdom was. We still sing about Queen Idia, and that's her emblem in the British museums. These are strong. These are women that society will trust.
I do think, though, outside of the ego of woman and man, and you can't tell me, and often that comes from a place of experience where you're not going to be told by anybody anymore because you've been through things. Often that kind of responses, being strong in career and a go-getter and entrepreneur is something totally different than being that way energetically in your relationships. Can and will cause problems.
What is the energetic in a relationship? What, you're running with him? Doing sprints or what?
Okay, all right.
I want to know now.
How do I break
you're panellists with them or... I don't get it.
Okay, let me give you an example. Let me give an example.
Yeah.
You may call it vibes, some may call it energy, some may call it chemical, whatever words you want to use.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware that there's going to be a level of conduct that is inappropriate with you as a woman.
I'll tell you.
You may choose to step into
got one.
Right. I may choose to walk in your Dr. Martens, but it's not appropriate sometimes.
If you choose to what?
I may choose
What,
to
Dr. Martens, you know those
I
boots?
love Doc Martens. The only thing I say about people who wear that is they're just rebels. I'm not being difficult.
But what he's
I'm not
trying,
being
but no.
difficult. I love Doc Martens.
I think the point
I just call them rebels.
The point that Silver is trying to make that for some men, right?
Yeah.
If
you can even as a woman, you can see cause a problem.
They think that femininity is basically heels. What you're wearing right now.
Metaphorically as well. Use that.
That's not my
hello, I use it metaphorically. I'll give you more of a tangible example, as I always do. My mother, to this day, over 50 years, still married to my father. Yeah? My mother, and they don't use these words in their time, but it's words that I've implemented by watching them. Yeah? My mother is quite alpha female. She's never used that word. She doesn't know what it means, I don't think. Yeah. My dad, I realized, is very masculine in his own right. Yeah? My dad knows how far to go with my mom. There's a level of respect for her energy level of how she is as a woman. She's not a soft woman. She has her softness, but she'll never be classified as a soft woman. Yeah? So I know they both have the ability to overstep their energy realms in male, masculine, female, feminine, but they do not. My whole life I've known them clearly. And I know that they are aware of each other's thresholds. So by observation, I've realized they may say opposites attract. They very masculine man, very alpha female, but my mom knows when to cut off point.
Can I ask why you describe your dad as a masculine man?
My dad's a manly man.
What is a manly man? No. You don't Google it. You know your dad. You just describe him as this. Why do you describe him as that?
A man, okay, if we're going to talk about attributes, you can say a provider, protector, whatever. Let's go.
No, tell me why your dad is those two things you said.
My dad, for me, observation from growing up, resembled a man that was the opposite of feminine. Let's start there. Everyone knows what the opposite of feminine is.
No, you're going too far. I want to know why your dad is
but hang on. If you ask me a question, that's me answering. Hang on.
He carries all the load on his head. He's got muscles. I need to know.
No, but what you want to know is a version that suits your dictionary.
Oh, no,
I'm telling you the version that is right for me. Yeah?
Because there's somewhere I'm going with this.
Everybody knows what a feminine is. There's a world of men right now trying to be women. We know what that looks like.
These are new generation language.
That's what I'm saying.
So, these lexicons never existed in our parents' lives.
So for me, my dad, when I looked at my father growing up, there was zero femininity that reflected woman. Okay? I'm going to give you a typical bushman example then, He was the man that would go in the garden. He didn't know nothing about lawnmower. He'd get the cutlass and chop the grass. As a kid, as a child watching my dad pick up mice and rats and throw it while he's doing it in the garden, I was like, oh my God. Now me and the man's both screaming, spider! Okay, times has changed. I'm giving you over their example.
That's fine.
You didn't understand what I meant by feminine behavior versus masculine.
You see, again, let me land where I'm going. This is what I'm saying.
My mother played her role and still does, and he plays their role.
You see, the problem with our generation and current generation is we've tried to put languages into everything. My mother, your mother, their mothers, they didn't know nothing about this so-called femininity. But it
was quite clear.
No, listen.
Very clear behavior.
Listen, what we know is just man and woman. Different sexes. The man has penis, the woman has vagina. She got breasts, she breastfeeds, she carries baby. That's a woman. This is a man. They have roles as a man and as a woman.
But can you
listen. So listen, if my father decided to go farm with the woman who I call my mother, and my father grabbed the hoe and start digging, it is natural for him to do because he cares for this woman so much. He don't want this woman we call the weaker sex of my mother to dig holes. So he does that, dig the yam tuber out of the ground, hand it over to mom. Mom chops it because it's easy labor. She peels the yam and boil yam.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to label that femininity quality. It's just what comes with her naturally. That dude digs the ground, tills the soil, sees the rat. When she's going squirmish, the man grabs it and says, this one, pew, or even chew the head of the rat. You get where I'm coming from? Let me
ask you a quick question.
So the problem with generation is the language we use.
I agree
trying
with
to
that,
fit
actually.
people into a box.
I was just about to say that. I remember that.
But you still subscribe to it.
I remember.
I don't subscribe to them.
Yeah.
Where
It's unfortunate we use the
pointed
number,
out
I
that
don't.
when you, I remember you said you had a conversation with your mother was like, what do you mean? Like you naturally, I remember you said naturally you would fall into your roles.
Yeah, so
right?
That's
because you're with somebody that you love. But now it's almost the same. No, you have to do X, Y, Z to prove that you're a feminine woman.
When we grew up in my house.
And I think that's the distinction.
My dad knows when to retreat.
See how we fell into a role.
My mom knows how to retreat. But let me ask you a question. Actually, don't subscribe. I mean, I think we do. I think whether even language of, we use everyday language. I feel like we pick and choose what we want to subscribe to.
Yeah.
We pick and choose whether we want to be biblical or not. We pick and choose.
Oh yeah, of course. That's your nature.
I know growing up, men did not wear jeans looking like mine. And when they did, it was a man across the road who wore bra as well.
Growing up, my father wore leggings and bare bottoms. I wore them.
Was it leggings or long?
It was tight here. Very tight. It was very tight here.
Undergarment.
It was very tight here, and it went wide there.
Oh, you mean because at that
nothing
time that was
new.
in fashion.
All the fashions came back.
Okay, yeah.
My dad wore body hugs, slim tight shirts, and I love those things. That's why I wear them. Tight shirts, but my belly is big now, so obviously I'll be busting like an uncle. I don't want that. Now let me quickly tell you something. In my family, when we was growing up, we do house chores as you grew older.
Yeah.
So I grinded pepper with the stone.
Yeah.
It's what we had at the time. If we had blender, my mom would probably say, oh no, I'll be the only one using the blender, my mom. So I grinded pepper and my hands would peel from those burning things, and they would put white chalk on our hands to calm the nerves. As my sister grew, she would join me in that chore. Mm-hmm. I was washing dishes. As you grew, you do that. But there's something that they didn't allow my sisters to do.
What's that?
Naturally, pounded yam.
Oh yeah,
because that requires energy. Even me as a dude, I suffered.
Yeah,
pounding yam, my heart will be out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No one wants a girl to be pounding yam while Jude is crossing his feet.
Yeah, no,
so
that's fine.
We fell into our roles naturally.
Yeah.
So as I grew older, my mom would say, my mom didn't say, you just fell into that role of pounding yams.
Yeah.
While they remained doing peppers and plates.
That's actually
so the hard work, sweeping the compound. If it was small, it was for them. It was bigger, using the bigger brooms, it was us. Because we had brooms this tall, made from palm fronds or stuff. We just used that. So those hard chores, digging gutters, was left for us. My sisters never dug the gutter during the environment day. The girls never did it. We did. What the girls would do is probably bring water for us. So we all fell into that natural role, which again is sort of conditioning. There are families who will train both sexes to do same chores. And they'll grow up like, there's no difference. A man pounds, a woman pounds.
This is how I understand it. Elaborate on this for me for a moment. It sounds as though you, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds as though you don't really see a boundary or border between man and woman. It's like, does it merge into one to you? That you don't
I see them. I said
what do you subscribe to though?
Subscribe to us how?
As in subscribe to.
Okay, maybe this will make sense for you. Maybe this will help you make sense. Maybe this will help you make sense. Went to a friend's house. Don't want to mention his name. He'll know himself. Food was everywhere. The women were serving food. This is my habit. I don't want you serving me. I don't know where that came from. I went to get my own food. Finished eating. I was washing my dishes. No, let the woman do it. I'm like, I can't. I went to thank the lady. I said, you've done well. You've cooked this food and we're eating. We should help you. He said, I'm a traditional man. You know what I said to him?
But he's allowed to say that.
You know what I said to him? You know what traditional men do for their women? They house them, they feed them, they clothe them, they protect them, they respect them. Have you done any of those?
Oh, did you tell him that?
Yes! I don't hide in it. I don't want to call it step, but he knows himself. He kept short. He kept his mouth short.
Did that cause a conflict?
I washed dishes when I was young. Why won't I wash dish now as a man?
How did he take that? No,
it's my dude. He kept short.
Oh, he was cool with that.
But the lady was smiling. I don't do that. Another dude, I went to his house. The wife has spent time cooking, and everybody's just there lazy in the back, threading their legs, drinking. And I said, hang on, I need us to do something. I won't allow this. Every one of you need to give us some money.
I also think that, I think that's amazing in jest, but I also know that we have to know our place in different people's environments. But hear me out.
If we know our place and we don't challenge these things, how do we form a society that's healthy?
Hear me out.
Okay.
As much as all three of us are vocal,
yes,
we have to know when to shut that up. Because it's not every place we've got to inflict our opinions.
I said the dude is my friend.
No, I get it, but
so
there's people that are my blood.
I ain't gonna tell a stranger that, they will knock me out.
Me voicing
Of course.
is
A stranger
actually
will knock me
respectful
out.
of their culture.
Yes.
So I
come from the same culture with him, so he can tell me more.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
It can't just be the Jude show everywhere you go.
Okay,
No.
so on that note,
It's not like that.
this has been a very heated topic.
It's not like that, but I'm just telling you. No, it's my dude, and we should be comfortable telling you the truth. I don't want to see my daughter being told that way, that your place is the kitchen. It's where I come from.
I get it if it's being that, but
and I'm very particular that I don't play with those things. I'm very passionate about that.
Yes, and on that note,
Simple.
I think that links into what we said in that you cannot expect certain roles and traditions to play out if you don't play into the role of being a traditional man. And I think we did touch on that point when we had, and I think that's the same point that Jude is trying to make. That if you are requiring your woman to fit into this traditional role where she's a homemaker, she stays at home, you also have to make sure that you live up to the standard of the traditional man, which is being a provider
I was told that recently
and being a protector and everything else.
Yeah, we've got to know when.
So on that note, thank you for listening.